Well, hey!
What's up?
Whoa.
Ow.
Whoa.
All right. Hey, you
Wait
know
a minute.
what? I think we should get this stream started. What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. We are here to discuss the amazing episode that we just saw last night. And if you tuned in to the live stream with Fatherly Fandom, then you already know how amazingly excited we were about it. However, before we get into it, first, Chris, Dave, Niseth, how are you gentlemen doing this fine and wonderful evening?
Oh, man. I didn't get much sleep, but I am excited to talk more about this episode, Part 5, The Shadow Warrior.
Right on.
Right
What?
on.
And me, I need something to drink. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Starting it off right.
And then I have to jump right into the Arnold because somebody already cast in an Arnold, and I have to,
Oh,
have to
gosh.
talk like ow. They also
There's
cast
There's a Palpatine as well.
There's a Palpatine out there.
Okay, I've got to figure
You're
out how to
welcome.
display the chat. I am not seeing it here. All right, so
Oh,
I'm seeing
no.
Comment. Let me see here.
Oh no, that's no good. Well, I'll keep going then. My day was great. What I did was
Oh,
get up
I can
and
click
got up and I
show.
worked and I came
That's
home and
how you do it.
there
Yeah,
we go.
show. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Now I get to talk to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, how are you doing? I got it while he was drinking.
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Looks like a dad joke was redeemed, too.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Where? I don't see it.
A dad joke was redeemed, huh? All right. Let's see here. Got to think of a good. Got to think
No,
of a
you're the one I
good.
gave you yesterday.
I didn't have any on deck. Usually Keith is our go-to dad joker. I am not a
Yeah.
dad that I'm aware of. But
How about we do the deer one?
oh,
Dear.
I'm sorry. I was supposed to wait. Hold on. How does Palpatine go? Oh my God!
Daddy
Somehow
Palpatine.
returned. How did he return?
Somehow.
Do it.
So, did you know that most deer can jump higher than your house? Turns out most houses can't jump.
They get to jump.
Ah.
There's your dad joke.
All right. Oh, here we go. We got a good one. What weighs more, a gallon of water or a gallon of butane? I don't know, Sierra. What weighs more?
They're the same.
Something with a lighter.
With a gallon.
Ah, there you go. I got it.
Water, because butane is lighter fluid.
Lighter fluid.
Ah!
Da-dunk-dunk.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it.
Well, Palps, how are you doing today?
I'm doing quite wonderful. Arnold, have you ever heard of the tragic tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Yes.
Really? Oh, everybody's heard that one. Crazy. Well,
About
maybe
25
if you
years
came
ago.
to the dark side of the Force, then. All right, you know what?
Have you heard of the Martez sisters?
Yeah, I have heard of the Marquez sisters. All set
You've
on
heard
that one.
enough of the Martez sisters.
All right, but hello, nerds and fatherly fandos, and the what do you call your folks, Niseth? What are your people?
I don't know. I don't call them anything. Just me.
Niseth super fan.
Yeah.
Super fans. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we are getting ready to talk Ahsoka, episode 5.
Oh, hey, look what you did
All
there.
right, now.
I like it.
If you joined us for the watch party last night, you already know. I mean, if you saw the episode last night, you already know. I mean, this was nearly perfect. I mean, aside from like the most minor nitpicks that I could even I struggled to find, it was good. I rewatched it and it's still good. I gotta say, I think, and call me crazy, you know, if I'm off base, but I think they actually improved the de-aging from
Agreed.
episode 4.
Oh yeah.
In fact,
agree.
I checked episode 4 and I think they updated it. Seriously, I
From
went
that
back and I
episode.
looked. It looks different. Or I'm just on a high because of how good the episode was, and I'm letting everything slide.
Probably a little from column A, a little from column B. Yeah.
What were your nitpicks? Because mine were just so nitpicky that I don't know if I should mention them. But
You
for me,
you guys are gonna hate me for it.
it
because-
was the fighting when she was young.
Not
thing is-
possible, Doug.
The thing is, my nitpick, I totally get. I understand why they went the route that they did. I get why they made the choice that they made. I still was just like, I don't like it though. So when we get the flashback, which was really cool, I love seeing live action Clone Wars. I can't believe how cool of an idea that was. But when we get that live action Clone Wars, it was so much smoke and so much clouds and so much everything like obscuring the battlefield. It was like, it seemed too much. It seemed like too much.
A lot of
You know-
smoke. I agree.
I
Yeah.
kind of thought
You
that
know?
too, but then that helped them pull off the Vader moment later.
It did. So
It
that's what I'm
did.
saying. Like, I get why they did it. So
Pros
on one
and
hand, from
cons.
like a production standpoint,
Mhm.
it's also cheaper to do it. So now
Oh,
you don't
way
have to
cheaper.
full screen with a bunch of like, tanks and war vehicles and other clones. Because I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but every one of the clones that were on screen were real people.
Yeah.
They actually asked the 501st cosplayers, the 501st Stormtrooper Legion.
Oh, that
They
is
asked
awesome.
them to come. They were the
That
ones
is
playing
awesome.
the clones.
That's cool. That's cool.
They
And then they
filled
had
in on the
Tamara
first
Morrison,
season of The
obviously, doing the
Mandalorian too. So
Mhm.
yeah, very nice.
Yeah, they've been bringing these guys on a lot. They've gotten to
love
the point
that.
where they're basically like actors for these Star Wars series. I think that's
Which is
pretty awesome.
awesome. It is so awesome. Like involving fans in the shows.
Oh, it is.
Great.
Yeah.
Keep
Now,
it going, guys.
Have you ever run into these guys like in real life? You know, these people who they cosplay stormtroopers, like, and they really take it serious.
And they do a lot of charity work too,
They do.
all
Yep.
over
They
the
do.
place. So they're doing lots of good work.
So when I went to a local shop that like sells action figures and stuff, and I was going looking for this because I had
Yeah.
that Comic-Con coming up, and I wanted to make sure
So jealous.
that I had my Ahsoka character to get signed by Ashley Eckstein. And when I was there, the this one dude, as I'm waiting in line, he sees my Ahsoka figure, and I also had these because they're like my favorite. My favorite versions of the Stormtroopers. The Stormtroopers.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
And he looks at him and he goes, you really need more Stormtroopers. He goes, you know how expensive those suits are to make? I was like,
Your mic is
look cool.
messed up now.
He hands me this like baseball card style thing that he had made up, and he says, "I'm like, oh, this is cool. Is this your cosplay?" He goes, "Yeah, all of us that have been in it for a while, we all get these made up, and it shows the different key numbers that go on. We have like 4 of them on the back. So he did like a snow trooper. He did like one of the light troopers. He did, like, so he had like 4 different things.
Can't hear you, man.
Oh,
There's
There
something
you go.
going
That
on with your
sounds better.
mic.
What'd you do? It's like when you stood up, something happened to your mic.
Wait a moment, guys. Technical difficulties here.
Well, we
Talk
can
amongst
continue the
yourselves.
Conversation. I'll give you the topic.
you know-
Postmodernism.
Did you guys know that Sam Witwer actually voices the character of that type of I forget what type of trooper that is in Andor, the one that arrests him at the beach? That's old
Really?
Sammy
Oh, really?
Witwer. Yeah.
That was Sam Witwer?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
all right. How about now?
Yep, you're good.
Good.
Sweet. Yeah, it looks like I accidentally pulled my USB cord loose.
Dang it! I hate when that happens.
Yeah, the
Pulling cords.
the Empire. They cut it loose.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
You gotta keep your
Knew
eye
you were
on
about
them.
to say some bad things.
So, did you hear the part where I said that I was talking to the stormtrooper dude?
That
Yes,
one in the box?
a little bit.
You were talking to that one in the box?
No. So he saw that I had these,
Mhm.
the shore troopers, and he says, we don't have enough of them. He says because the
Yeah.
suits are so expensive to make.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, so we have like maybe a handful, and then he handed me. So I didn't know that this was a thing that they do. Apparently, when they've been doing it for a while, they get these little baseball card things made up with like a picture of one of their costumes. They can have multiple of them, and then on the back of it, it'll list all their various TK numbers
Mm-hmm.
that they go under whenever they go into cosplay. Like some of these guys, they take it like super seriously, and they put so much work and detail and effort into it.
Yeah, and they'll make a lot of the actors and people in Star Wars honorary members, and they'll get TK numbers as well, which is really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the cosplay, it's crazy because like they have to make a lot of this stuff themselves, 3D model and with all resins and stuff. I had to put together a Mandalorian outfit, and man, it took me a year to get all those pieces done and to paint it just right to look like actual metal and to get all the 3D pieces, figure out how to buckle things on. Yeah, it took forever. The helmet was the easiest part because that's the only thing I was able to just buy. That was the Black Series helmet. So actually got that right here.
Well, show it to us, man.
Yeah, I got my Mando helmet right here. So this is it right
Oh,
here.
you don't have a scope on it.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, you can actually take the scope off. Well, it's not a scope. Like, he doesn't come with a scope, but he comes with, like, a little light that you can actually put on and off on this. And the only thing I replaced on this was actually the lens. It was a little, like, the one that it comes with is really warped, so you can't see very well with it. So I got the special lens that's made out of, like, sunglass material that made in Germany. So you can actually see very well out of it now. So yeah,
Nice,
pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
very cool.
You got any paraphernalia from Star Wars there, Paul?
I do not, unfortunately. I had a couple figurines, but they're not here. They're in storage right now.
Being old Dougie Doug.
Oh, nice.
Dark saber.
Yeah.
Wait,
I don't know how we both have it.
how can you both have the dark saber?
Wait.
Oh yeah, it turns out they've got like a whole bunch of those things. It's not as special as one would think. Tar Vizsla,
Yeah. That was just
it was a
misinformation.
weekend project for him.
You're
He's
just
just like,
kidding around.
I like
Just
this
seeing-
one, but I could make it better, maybe darker.
Right. Let me see. They're seeing
By the
how much
time
they
he's-
could fool them.
By the time he's done, he's got like 16 different dark sabers floating around in the universe. Everybody thinks theirs is special.
Everybody's battling each other for him. He's like, what a
I'm the
bunch
king
of
of
idiots.
Mandalore. What? No, wait,
Yeah.
I am.
Keith,
Hey,
Keith is in the
just
chat.
joined us.
I was about to
Welcome.
draw attention to the chat and say Sierra doesn't like Sabine.
Well, we didn't get a lot of Sabine this week, so you must be really happy.
Yeah. Paul, why
None,
doesn't she
in
like
fact.
Sabine?
Okay, so she doesn't like Sabine because I can kind of agree because Sabine, ever since Sabine showed up in the series, she's just been making terrible decisions
She has, for the story, as Doug says.
for the story, and that's why she's so upset about it. She's like, "Oh, look,
Yeah.
first time you get the map, you get it stolen. Great. First time you do, oh, you give the map up. Why would you do that? Okay, well, just yeah.
They
So I
separated.
understand
When he said
Yep.
stick together, and then they separated.
exactly.
Yep.
But I think there's Keith.
There he is.
It's
I
Keith.
think her going with them was the right choice, though. Sorry, go ahead.
Eh.
Hey, Keith, how you doing tonight?
Yeah.
I am tremendous. Got home from my daughter's open house at her high school. Was a good time for all. Was sitting there just wanting to talk Star Wars to everybody. They're like, "Do you guys have any questions? Do you
I got a
think
few.
do you think we're going to see Ezra and Sabine reunite next week?" And they're like,
Who and what? And get out of here, sir.
Do those students even go here?
That's how you got here. They kicked you out, didn't they, Keith?
I just
He
like
doesn't
telling
even go
all of my
here.
daughters.
Yeah. Why are you here?
I told your world history teacher that you passed your driving test today. She wants you to do a presentation on it tomorrow. You did what? I'm just kidding. I always tell her, I'm like, I told your math teacher my favorite math joke. It's a yo mama joke. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Ready. We needed
Your
you
mama's
earlier.
so mean. Your mama's so mean she has no standard deviation.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
good. Good math joke. She's so
good.
mean. Right
All right.
down the middle.
As you got here, Sierra was explaining why she doesn't like Sabine, and we don't understand it. But Paul was. She tells Paul to say the main issue.
I mean,
he's like, "What's the main
I
issue?"
can kind of understand it too, because this is what Dave Filoni does. He takes a character and he makes them irredeemable, like Sierra's saying. Ahsoka was whiny, a little brat in the first couple episodes of Clone Wars, and they built her up from that. He likes to do that. He's like, let me make them as whiny and just awful as possible, and I'm going to make you love the heck out of this character by the end. So I think that that's the
He
plan
does a good job of
for
that.
Sabine. Even though it's like kind of a setback from what we got in Rebels, because like I like Sabine a lot in Rebels, but yeah, they readjusted this character and she's in a different mood and a mindset in this, and she's making a lot of bad decisions. But like Doug has brought up, it's for the story. They're doing it
and
because
remember,
that's what they have to do.
It's so
they're
the
not just
story
doing
can
it for the story. I mean, her
Mhm.
family was killed in the Night of a Thousand Tears.
Oh, that's
She
true. Yeah,
lost Ezra.
forgot
She
about
lost Anakin. I mean, there's some
Everybody.
story behind why she is how she is. And I saw that Sierra had said she got manipulated by the
She
man.
is a brat.
He's an extremely powerful Jedi. I mean, it wasn't like it was just some dude off the street and said, "Hey, let's take a ride." She's like, "Cool, let's do it." He was manipulating her emotions through the Force,
For sure.
and that's how he got, because he needed that star map.
Mhm.
So you can forgive her a little bit for things. She has made a lot of mistakes, but I
Yeah,
think
he knew how to pull the strings.
Yeah, Ezra's all she's got left. So exactly, that's the string he had to pull, and that's what
Yep.
he did.
Yeah, but Ezra's kind of lame, so.
I mean, I cannot disagree with you there, Doug.
Let me correct you, Doug. He was lame. He is going to be a
Oh, okay,
magic
all right.
using Force wielder, and he's going to be the most powerful
In the
Jedi.
last episode of Rebels, when he became the Purrgil Master, he was briefly cool and then he disappeared. So, all
Mhm.
right.
Purrgil Master.
Yeah.
I am
What's the
Purrgil,
guy's name?
Lord of all
Uh,
Purrgils.
Lord of all Purrgils. But
Wait
the guy
till-
who's playing Ezra, Amon Fondi, is that how you say it? Esfondi?
What?
Even in that little hologram, I liked his
Huh?
portrayal of Ezra. So maybe, we're not liking Sabine. Maybe we'll really like Ezra now. Maybe they swapped.
Maybe.
As
So-
the master of Purrgils, he's going to be like, Fred, why did you bring Ahsoka here? I told you not to bring her here. I'm so disappointed in you.
I don't think there's going to be a way I'm not going to like Sabine.
Mhm.
That's all I'm going to say.
I like
The only-
the actor. She's great.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're
Yeah,
going to
actor
pull
girl.
Wanda on her.
You know what? I will say
You can't
that
go full
my
Wanda.
favorite moment in this series
Right.
was her flying down the freeway with the music playing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know what?
Still a
Screw the
great
government, man. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock
Screw the
and-
man!
It's
So-
our Rage Against the Machine moment.
I can
Yeah.
I can stand her for that. That was a good moment.
That was a good
That was
moment.
I respect
agree.
that moment.
But,
Because she's a rebel.
Yeah. He said,
Once
a
he
rebel,
said the
always a
word,
rebel.
he said the thing.
The thing. They all are with Hera as well. They're having real trouble trying to be a part of this new system of the Republic. So
Boy, oh boy. So
these damn bureaucrats.
I did not throw up the logo because we're like running out of screen real estate here. But
Yeah.
yeah, we totally went into tangent time there.
Mhm.
Back
Well, how
to the To the episode proper, speaking of Hera being a rebel, what do you all think she's in for? So, like, she started off the episode basically admitting, yeah, so what? What am I going to do? Lose rank? And it's like,
oh, yeah.
No, dude, you might, like, really get in trouble for this.
They're going to throw you in the brig.
Yell you for this, man.
Yeah.
Now we know what's going to happen. They name dropped General Leia.
Oh, Senator
Organa.
Organa.
Yeah.
Senator Organa.
We know that Hera's going to be starting building the resistance that we know is breaking off from the New Republic here soon. So they're setting that up. She's going to be in trouble. She's going to start leading the resistance away from that because we know it's coming because the First Order is going to be coming soon. So they're just setting up that little plot thread.
Yeah.
I think it sucks if we don't see her again, though.
I have a question for those of you that have read like the supplementary canon media. I remember hearing that there was either a book or a comic or something that kind of explained what Leia was doing at the beginning of the New Republic, and that she was kind of ousted and forced out of the Senate because people were spreading rumors that, did you know her dad was Darth Vader?
Yeah, that came out. I think it was called Bloodlines was the name of the book.
Okay.
And so basically, Leia was about to be chancellor and everything. She was running for chancellor.
Oh, no kidding.
And that information got out that Darth Vader was her father, and it just ruined her political career.
Did anybody care that he was also Luke's father?
I don't think so.
No, he blew up the first Death Star. He's a hero.
He's a hero. And he doesn't get involved in politics, so they don't mess with him. So.
Yeah, I can see the political ad now. Do you want your New Republic run by a Sith Lord child? Princess Leia.
I've wondered about that as far as like, and that's why I enjoy the whole Star Wars politics thing. I get into it whenever you see, Mon Mothma or one of them show up. I like when they dive into it. And I mentioned this in our previous stream that I would love to see more of just like the everyday citizens of the Star Wars universe, because I guarantee they're probably like how Han was with the Jedi in Episode 4. I guarantee you, like a lot of other people are probably like, the Jedi? Like what? You mean that weird hokey religion? I thought they were all gone, man. I
find your lack of faith disturbing.
Could they really?
I find your lack of faith disturbing, Doug.
You know what I wonder? So I was reading the synopsis for this book too. So it's 6 years prior to The Force Awakens, centers around Princess Leia Organa, and she serves on the Galactic Senate, of the New Republic. Throughout the novel, Princess Leia contends with the different threats to the Republic, both internal and external, in a series of events that ultimately leads up to the formation of the Resistance. And I'm kind of wondering, what planet is she a senator for now?
Oh, that's a good question.
Do you have to be born on the planet that you're a senator
for? So what is that going to be?
Asteroid
that rock asteroid? Yeah.
Well, it could be Tatooine because her brother lived there. She could be a senator from.
Oh,
maybe they did a colonialism, and there's a new Alderaan.
A new Alderaan. Boom! Nailed it, Doug.
Maybe she's a senator from Naboo.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Oh, there we go.
That would look even better. Oh, the senator from Naboo wants to be chancellor. That never went wrong. Don't vote for Leia.
She's going to try to take extreme power. She might even be a Sith Lord. Who are we to know? Vote Jar Jar Binks.
We didn't know about Pal.
Yeah. What if he was the one running the campaign against her?
Just full slander campaign.
Right.
We've even heard stories that she kissed her twin brother. Gross.
More than once.
Oh, okay. I got the answer, guys. You want to hear it?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
So, even though Alderaan was destroyed, she's a senator of the Alderaan sector, that whole star system. So that's how they work in the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah.
Like,
you can still be a senator of a non-planet.
well, I guess there's other planets in the Alderaan sector.
Like the system. Okay, so kind of like the Mandalore system, how they've got multiple planets and moons.
There you go.
All right, I guess that that tracks
That's
mostly.
a technicality.
We lost the main planet, but we got a couple other ones. We got a couple
others.
moons.
We did a colonialism.
Yeah. Oh boy.
All right.
The British Empire is very proud of us.
We stole some treasures from some of the other planets. They're in our museums now.
Welcome to Yavin 2. You mean
Borrow
New
these
Alderaan?
No. All right, you
Oh.
gotta go.
Oh.
You gotta go.
And this is where our capital will go. Actually, that's a temple. Capital.
Capital now.
These heathens here, I don't know what they're doing.
God. Oh, it's like the episode of Andor. Yeah, we let them walk their little path and look at the sky. They think it's magic or something.
Oh yeah.
Well, as is per our channel, before anyone else, I'm going to ask the question. And I'm going
Okay.
to ask Keith first because he's really good with theories. What's
Best.
next for Hera?
Ooh yeah.
Well,
He kind of said.
what's next for Hera is she's going to go up in front of the board, probably a military board of some type. She's either going to be kicked out or reprimanded, and she's going to start working with probably Senator Organa to start forming a resistance, because we're going to find out probably not this season. I think the end of this season will be Thrawn making it back to this galaxy,
Mhm.
or we're going to see that all of them that didn't think they needed a military or
Mhm.
defense in any way were extremely wrong. So I think she's going to be planting the seeds for that resistance, and it's going to be sort of littered throughout the
Yeah.
rest of this episode, and then really hit whether it's Filoni's movie or maybe Ahsoka season 2 or wherever they're going to continue this story at.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. My question though is what's going to happen to Jason? That's my big question more than Hera.
Do you want my dark theory?
Yes.
Sure, let's hear it. Yep.
Okay,
do
so
it.
he's going to keep getting stronger and stronger in the Force, and Hera's finally going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like, I really was hoping that this kid wouldn't be Force sensitive, but he keeps showing all these signs. He's becoming more and more like his father. And then all of a sudden, Ahsoka's going to mention, oh, well, I mean, I got this friend of mine, Luke. He's got this temple going
jeez.
on. I mean,
Yeah.
you might want to send him there. He's got this, like, new recruit,
Brand
Ben.
new temple. Yeah.
I think it's
Best
going to be
buds
so
with Ben.
great. I don't
First of the
foresee
ninth of May.
anything going wrong. He's going to have a great friend.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Senator Organa's son is going there. You know it's going to be good.
You know.
Good. Nothing ever bad is going to happen there.
Ever.
Safest place in the galaxy.
No, that's like I hope that's not the route to go, but I could totally see that feels very Star Wars.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
could totally see them going there and be like,
That would
yeah,
be
that's
pretty
why you won't
metal
see
if they just
Jason ever
went.
again.
Yeah. Last scene you see of him is going off to the Jedi Academy.
I
Mom.
think
I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
I think that he might go a different route. I don't think he's going to go to Luke's, only
No.
because he has such a good relationship with Ahsoka.
Mhm.
And if you remember early on in this episode when they were, I think, at the Battle of Ryloth, I don't think it was the Siege of Mandalore, but I think it was when they had to flash back to the Battle at Ryloth. Anakin was like, "You don't even want a Padawan, do you?" Which I think was hinting at her and Sabine's relationship. Like,
Right.
yeah, you don't really want to do it, needling her. But I think she's going to learn that. I think Jason will be in better hands training with Ahsoka than going to any Jedi Academy, because he's already wanted to train with Huyang. I say that right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Hu Yang.
And he
Huyang.
likes that
Got
starship.
it.
So I think they're going to keep him away from the massacre at Luke's temple by having him
Yeah.
train with Sabine and Ahsoka.
Well,
Are
I
you
think you
treating
guys
me?
brought it up before
No.
too, where I forget who brought it up, but that there's going to be a separate Jedi Order and everything, and that's what we're going to see after the sequel trilogy. I think Keith, you actually mentioned
Yeah.
that before.
So we were
So-
theorizing quite a while ago, back before Rise of Skywalker hit theaters.
Mhm.
We still had like a glimmer of hope in our eye, like
I know.
this is gonna
Wait.
be good.
I don't remember that movie.
Oh yeah. It's like, what is
Yeah,
this movie?
yeah. We put you in the mind flare, Keith. You wouldn't. It's okay.
Thank you all. Thank you all for
Yeah.
letting me forget that.
So jealous,
But
Keith.
back
So
back when
jealous.
we were recording at our studio, one of the prevailing theories that we had before the movie came out, we were thinking, okay,
Right.
we heard this Palpatine laugh. He's probably definitely not going to show up. That would be insane. Instead, what's going to happen is, Kylo Ren, he's going to go all evil, and it's going to be up to Rey. She's going to have to bring balance to the Force and be the first gray Jedi, and she's going to be called a Skywalker. And so, because we also, if you go back and watch those old videos, we keep calling it Rise of Skywalker because we're dumb.
I think a lot of us
what
had
could
that
have
thought
been-
too back in the day. I did. That was something, and that was a prevailing theory that was going on back then. And then we went to the theater, and I had no emotion watching the last Star Wars movie that I would see from the Skywalker saga.
I laughed a few times. I don't know if that's what they
Yeah.
were hoping for. Like, I'm not sure
I
if
did.
that was the.
I sat like
I
this the whole time. That, seriously, the whole freaking time. I was like, well,
See?
it's done.
I was more like this. Okay, when is Ashton Kutcher going to come in and tell me I'm being
See?
punked?
Yeah.
How
Any
long-
moment now, the credits are rolling.
Wasn't that like a
Please.
3-hour movie too? I can't remember.
It was pretty long.
It felt long.
For a brief minute, they did hook me, because when I saw that fight scene with Kylo and was that supposed to be Darth Vader's planet that he was on?
Mustafar.
That was
The Knights of
Mustafar,
Ren,
yes.
Was it?
In the
Okay,
beginning.
I wasn't
Yeah.
positive. I know there was like a forest, and I thought that was odd.
Yeah.
An odd choice for Mustafar. But when they showed that initial fight
Yeah.
scene, I thought that was kind of cool. Like watching him fight in the Force, I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Except for Kerry Russell's character.
Carrie Russell.
She was a bright spot for the 30 seconds she was on screen.
Yep.
And those
Oh,
little
the
guys.
Power Ranger chick.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Power Ranger chick.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
The Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
know, she was in the movie.
She was
She
good.
was.
And then she showed her eyes at that one point, which
At
was
that
like,
one point,
oh,
she did.
Okay.
And her
Look, you
part
guys,
headlines.
we had to have her in there because, like, everybody needs to have a relationship, and
Everyone
it can't
has-
be Poe. And Poe, he's not gay, guys. We
Yeah.
super duper promise. He's got so many girlfriends, guys. So many girls. He's got this Power Ranger.
Yeah.
I still don't know why they put Benicio del Toro in that movie. It was the Last Jedi, right?
Oh, Last Jedi? Yeah.
Oh, and Last Jedi.
His part did not seem significant at all, and then he just left.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
what did he got him? He got him out.
This,
But it could have been anybody. It didn't have to be, him. I don't know how else to say it. It just seems so like, let's throw him in there because he's Benicio del Toro. Let's not.
Yeah,
They made up that whole
Probably.
part just for him, which
probably.
was ridiculous.
We're
You're
spending
thinking,
a lot of
you know
time on the sequel trilogy, guys.
Like, he was so great with Collector. We got to get him in there.
can we talk about seeing the first Mandalorian in live action?
That was
Yes.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was
Mhm.
cool. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Let's go back to Ahsoka.
Let's go to the good stuff, guys. The good stuff, remember? It's the land of plenty now.
Now
We
back
like to
to the
bounce
good
around.
part.
And I just want to
Those
say,
mobile-
when he came back after the Siege of Mandalore little scene,
Mhm.
and he came back and he was basically Darth Vader. If
Yeah,
Obi-Wan
Anakin coming
hadn't
back.
thrown him into the pits, that is what the Emperor wanted. Not
Oh, yeah.
some,
Oh, yeah.
robot thing. So thank you, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because if he would have been that Vader going through the galaxy, shit would have never ended.
No,
So-
he was going to be the most powerful being in the galaxy. He would have been more powerful than Palpatine at full strength.
I don't think he would have. I actually
Yeah, he
don't
was
think he
supposed to
would
be.
have, because once he found out, if you've read all the Darth Vader comics as much as I have over and over, at one point he actually attempts to kill the Emperor right there in his surgery room, and the Emperor like force lightnings him in his suit and damn near shuts off his life support, and then as punishment takes him out of his suit and dumps him back on Mustafar with no lightsaber, and makes him crawl until he's able to he had to find something, and as he had to survive outside of his suit.
Oh, that's right, and he rebuilt himself.
His hatred and his anger even more. And he says multiple times that he purposely, his suit shocks him or his life support will cut off on purpose, and it's in order to keep him angry all the time, to keep his power boosted. I think if he wouldn't have had that accident, I don't know that he would have stayed, filled with hate and rage. I think he would have mellowed out after he realized the Emperor screwed me over.
Old mellow Anakin.
Oh, I think good guy Palps would have continued to manipulate him to get his way,
or he would have killed good guy Palps.
Or he would have killed. Yes.
I think that was more likely to happen. He was going to take Palpatine's place.
Seeing that shift, that the eyes changed, the face changed, and I was like, oh, that's why they added that musical sting at the end of episode 4. Now it's making sense, because I was wondering, I'm like, what is the purpose of this? What are they getting at with this? But then I saw that and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was such an easy transition back and forth for him too.
Yeah. He really put it really to the test. He was in control of it, which was the cool part.
Which you mentioned yesterday, Dave. Yeah, absolutely right.
Absolutely.
And all I know is that
is that all you know?
Hayden, pretty much. I'm not a very bright man.
Neither am I, Keith.
If Hayden Christensen is in no more Star Wars, they need to hire him to train lightsaber battles to anyone in a future Star Wars movie. Man, he was.
I agree.
Oh,
time to shine this summer.
Oh, it was so good, and then just seeing him use that rage against Ahsoka, even destroying a part of the world between worlds, which I didn't know he could do that.
I know. And did you see, when he got hit by Ahsoka in the face, he was just like, "Huh, yeah, I see you," and they cut the floor out from under her. It was perfect. Totally in control too. It was like, man, this guy, whole nother level.
Trains her even in death.
Yeah, I love that they did that. Yeah.
Yes, he completed her training.
And I kind of theorized about that before when Ahsoka was talking earlier in the series about Anakin not finishing her training, and so I was like, well, Anakin's probably going to come back as a Force ghost and complete her training, and that's what's going to lead Ahsoka to become her own master, her own Jedi. So I'm glad that we got that.
She will definitely be a much more powerful Jedi going forward.
Right.
So Sierra says, I argued Ahsoka was the only one able to fight Anakin.
I said no. Luke.
Oh, that brings up a good point, guys. When when Ahsoka said, "I'm not going to fight you," and Anakin said, "I've heard this before," he was talking about Luke.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, that's a beautiful callback. I love that. I was like, man, so he has all those Darth Vader memories too, and I'm just like, this is awesome. I love that.
Well, Obi-Wan in his prime, he beat the hell out of. Well, okay. You said Ahsoka's the only one able to fight Anakin. Do we count Vader, or do you strictly mean Anakin? I wonder if Obi-Wan in his prime would have been able to take out angry Anakin.
That was
rage. That's a great question.
You mean without the high ground?
Yeah, without the high ground.
Even without the high ground,
he's done without the high ground. Badass. He was a Master Surisu, which is Form 3, which is a total... It wears down your opponent, so you are as efficient as possible. Yeah, pretty much, that little move right there.
Yeah, you saw that move where he kept bashing at Ahsoka's lightsaber, kicked her at one point.
Yep, that's Form 5 right there. It's very much the attack. And so Obi-Wan is the complete opposite. He just deflects with as little energy as possible, wearing down your opponent. And that's how he's able to get the drop on Anakin as much as possible in their fight. So it is possible he could have won, even without the high ground.
You know what would have almost made that scene even just a smidge cooler, I think. You can all disagree with this. I think if she would have swiped for the face, just like she did against his mask in Rebels.
Oh.
Even if it just left
Yeah.
like a brief
Yeah.
ghostly scar that went away. How cool would it be to just see a little, like glowing slash, just to kind of remind us, she did this once before.
Bring that all
Yes,
together.
that would have been great.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
And then he could just
Good point.
smile about it as it leads off.
Yeah, he would
Because-
smile
Yeah, you saw as soon as they were done, like he returned back to like the way he looked before.
for sure. Yeah.
He's like, you got a shot after all. All right, see you around.
Everything he did, everything he showed her was to show, hey, you are not responsible for what happened.
Nope.
Have no guilt. This is going to free you up. You're going to be more powerful. You
She's
need to
got
fight
conviction
to
now.
live.
Mhm.
Yeah. This
And
whole
that's what I
thing was
loved
to
about-
teach her.
Yeah, Ahsoka the White at the end there when they got in, they're like, where are we going? I don't know. Wherever
She
we end
trusts in
up.
the Force.
I wanted to bring this up to you, Chris, in your recent video where you were talking about Ahsoka the White. You know how you allude to and you say that it seemed like it was inspired by the Lord of the Rings and everything.
Gandalf. Yes.
Did you know that there was actually an interview with Dave Filoni and he specifically says, yes, I was inspired. Like he says, he's not saying there was no illusion. He was,
No.
yes, she is literally an allegory to
is.
Gandalf the White.
Yeah, I have
He
seen
said
that interview.
like back in 2017 or 2018.
Yeah,
Wait, I got one
Dave
question.
Filoni's been setting this up for a while.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
one question, Doug. What's an allegory?
I
I'm
have
joking.
no
I'm
idea what
joking.
that means.
Damn it.
Little thing pops up above my head like Scott Pilgrim.
Do, 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 do.
I don't know the meaning of the word.
That wasn't cool.
Yeah, but she's totally Ahsoka the White. And
Yeah.
if you guys haven't seen that video on Father of the Phantom, go check it
You
out.
gotta check it out. You gotta
It's
check
a really
it out.
good one.
Absolutely.
But Dave's been absolutely. Dave Filoni's been after this for a while. I'm surprised that we got it so soon. I thought this was going to happen at the end of the series. So
Pretty
cool.
I feel like this works though. We're at kind of the
Yeah,
halfway
it makes
point.
sense.
And she did kind of go through a death and rebirth.
She did. Yeah.
So yeah, this is perfect right now. The only thing that we don't have out of her is
It's the two
And-
towers.
I don't remember the books as well because I read the Lord of the Rings books when I was a kid. But I remember in the movies, Gandalf the White almost acted like he was a different person.
Yeah,
It was like,
he does.
and he's all like, "Yeah, no,
Much calmer, cool,
Gandalf the White.
collected.
Gandalf, right? Yeah, I'm sure he was your friend. He seems like a cool dude."
Mm-hmm.
We didn't
Yeah.
get
Did
that
you
out
guys
of
know-
Ahsoka, and I'm actually kind of glad.
Actually, there was a slight change in Ahsoka because she is
For sure.
always Rosario Dawson has played her very like calm, cool, collected. Not she seemed a little more her old self. Like she
Yeah,
was
she
kind of
was-
making jokes with Hu Yang,
Yeah.
and she was. I was like, okay, they're kind of
That burden
Showing
is
that-
off of her. Yeah.
yeah.
You bring
And
okay.
she had a bit of a melancholy to her in the
Nice.
first part of the season. And because, all this stuff was weighing on her, leaving Sabine, as well as, what happened with Anakin. And, so she's definitely on mission now. She's got a purpose. She knows what's going on. She's trusting in the Force. Yeah, she's definitely that Gandalf the White. I'm here to turn the tides and get us on our mission and to get us where we need to go. So.
Yeah, I love that transition for her because it's the
Mhm.
opposite. Like I've
That's what
always
we
said
needed.
along the way, it's the opposite of the Darth Vader story.
Yeah, it's beautifully done. And who better to bring her to that than Darth Vader himself? So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, is she going to end the new galaxy once they Purrgil their way over there?
Mhm.
Is she going to locate some sort of white staff of some kind?
that's what we talked about
That's
last
what she'll
stream.
use.
I hope
So
That's
the
so.
what
next
she'll use
episode is
to,
called the Purrgiling.
The
The Purrgiling.
The Purrgiling.
You got
Please.
Purrgil, baby.
That'd be awesome. Yep.
It's just going to be an hour of them traveling through hyperspace.
Just-
in those towns.
Yeah.
From the point of view of the Purrgils.
Oh man. Yeah. We're talking about no filler, and it's gonna just be all filler in the next episode.
Hu Yang, did you pack any snacks?
Damn it!
Always pack the snacks. Come on. Sabine drank all my coffee.
He's
You
like,
brought
well,
the
I don't
damn
need
helmet,
that.
but no snacks.
Anybody got a Zarg nut?
Yeah, Zorg nut.
No, I ate them all.
That's right.
You know what, too? They referenced it earlier, and I can't. Oh, it was Hu Yang who had said to Ahsoka, yeah, you have a different kind of legacy. And Anakin
Yeah.
talked about it
She
in
said it
this
too.
episode, too.
Yeah, he said it too.
And, you think about it,
Mhm.
Anakin, Obi-Wan trained Anakin, Qui-Gon trained Obi-Wan, and Dooku trained Qui-Gon. That's quite a lineage. When he was saying, I know everything my master knew. Now, and I wonder if that included Darth Sidious. Because we did see her eyes go yellow right before their kind of battle was done. And she might be willing to touch the dark side a little bit more than what a Jedi would feel comfortable with.
I think that's what they're alluding to there, Keith, about this balance in between. Because Ahsoka brought it up earlier when she was training Sabine about how you dipped into the dark side so you're unbalanced. It's quicker to gain that power. But if you are versed in staying in between, maybe there's a path in the middle. Maybe that's what they're alluding to here, which would be
I would
cool.
love to see that. I would love to
Me
see
too.
that.
She can show that it's possible to love without, owning a person, without
you have an
completely turning to
attachment.
dark and hurting others without being selfish about it. You
Yeah,
can still
yeah.
love others and the universe.
I think that's the ultimate message, and that's why Luke succeeded at the end of Return of the Jedi. And I wish Luke would have learned that message instead of what we got with his Jedi Academy. So.
In the arms of the space
Really?
angels.
Sing it, Doug.
I was going to go on the tangent time there as well. Well, we're in the same time period. I was looking for like 7, 8, and 9 to be like Luke being the badass Jedi that he was in the books. You know what I mean? He became the ultimate Jedi. That's what I was looking forward to seeing, and that's what really disappointed me about that thing. Those 3 movies we will not talk about.
And I really think the only reason they didn't do that, they didn't show, him searching out Jedi temples and getting the lore and understanding and becoming this, the Jedi we saw at the end of The Mandalorian season 2, is because 30 years had passed.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, let's bring in some young characters and we'll have the fogies around to kind of train them, but move along. I think if George Lucas would have made 7, 8, and 9 a lot closer to the end of the prequels, it would have been more like that, because Mark Hamill would have been younger and we would have gotten a much better sequel trilogy out of that whole deal.
Yeah. Well, could you imagine having Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher in their prime right after Return of the Jedi coming back on board? Missed opportunity.
And
So
Sierra,
says, the only reason I'm not more of a Star Wars fan is because of those movies.
I'm sorry.
no, it's understandable. I mean, those. I'm sure there's people that love them, and I'm sure 10 years from now there'll be people coming forward that say how great they were. But I think that turned a lot of people off from Star Wars. Like, if The Mandalorian wouldn't have come out and been so great, I think when Andor came out, people would have been like, I'm good.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you're right. There's going to be people who these new movies, the Disney sequels, these are going to be their first Star Wars movies. Think about all the people where the prequels were their first Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
You're lying. Stop lying on me.
But
She's lying on me.
There's so many people that are a lot younger than me that they grew up watching those, and so the prequel movies hold like a special place in their heart. For me, they don't. I was already in high school when they came out. I think I was getting ready to graduate high school when those came out, and so it was like I saw them, but they don't really hold a special place in my heart because they weren't my first Star Wars.
No, yeah, I grew up with the OT.
The
That was original
the
trilogy all the way.
VHS, the
Yeah,
crackly
worn-
VHS copy that my cousin
Mhm.
had. That was
Yeah, but you weren't like me and
Well-worn
Keith.
VHS tapes.
I didn't
We
see them in
saw-
theaters.
We
In
saw
theaters?
those movies the day they came out.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
you
what
I-
I
got
wasn't
lucky.
born for.
I did
Me
not
neither.
see A New Hope the day they came out, but I don't know if I ever told you guys the story. I was 7 when it came. Actually, I was 6. I turned 7 in October after that. And when I saw it with my family, we're walking out, and I'm like, that is the best movie I have ever seen. And my mom's like, Keith, you say that about every movie. And I've shown her
Yeah,
52,
right.
and I'm talking Star Wars on Twitch. Doubt me again, Mom. I dare you.
Yeah. I was spitting truth, Mom.
But I still remember too when Return of the Jedi was coming out, and I was playing baseball with one of my buddies on a team, and we like told our coach, I like put $20 in my baseball pants, and I said, I gotta go for a quick minute. I'll be back. And he's like, where do you gotta go? I'm like, just don't worry about it. And we ran across the street to the Maikai, bought Return of the Jedi tickets, and then ran back to practice. We got back. He's like, wait, I thought you were going with your parents somewhere. And we're like, no, we ran across the street, bought tickets to Return of the Jedi. And he's just like,
Dorks.
That's not very tubular, Keith, or whatever they said back then.
Tubular.
I don't think anybody ever used that in an actual conversation. With me.
it was
That
more
is
like
so not rad, Keith.
the next game, he's like, okay, benched Richter, and now the starting lineup is
For the rest of the season.
And if
that's
you
why
so
Keith
help me, if
never
you
went
start
pro.
using bats, if you start using bats as lightsabers again during the game, you're kicked off the team.
Keith, you definitely did that, didn't you? Quite a
I
bit.
did.
Oh,
I
yeah.
most definitely did.
Yep. Yep.
I use big sticks. The biggest stick I could find in the woods.
I did the
Me
same.
too. Same. Any big stick out there.
Up until now,
Or wrapping paper rolls.
Oh my gosh, yes, wrapping paper rolls all the
Because
time.
that made the best sound.
It did.
You
It did.
know?
Now, my mom did take me to a dollar store one time, and she bought me one of those like plastic samurai swords.
Mhm.
That became a lightsaber for me for a little while.
Yeah.
Looked nothing like it, but you know.
I know.
Hey,
As long as you can hit somebody from across the room.
Mhm.
Sir, excuse me.
if you can imagineer it.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a
that's
lightsaber.
what I had to do, you know. So all these kids that had the kind of like pull out and everything, and I'm like, well, here's my dollar store samurai sword. That's the same thing, right? Over here, here's my Wish.com lightsaber.
Oh. Oh man.
And now look, I've made up for it.
And yeah, and then some.
But
the true dark saber.
Mm-hmm.
you know, I still haven't decided which one of them that I like best. They both have their pros and cons. Man, if only there was some video that I could like watch that compared
Or a
them.
couple of videos.
Couple of videos there, yeah. Man,
Only somebody
Wait,
produced those.
Hold on. You're not the ruler of Mandalore?
no, they said down with the monarchy. They're doing like a whole election system now.
All right. First item of business is to remove all the glass from the top of the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on glass sweep up duty.
No more domes.
Yes.
No more biodomes. Pauly Shore, get out of here, man. We don't need you anymore.
Brendan Fraser in that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's going to be in the
No,
Star,
wait, no.
Star Wars project. Did I hear
Wait,
that
no.
right?
Brendan Fraser was in
He
the
wasn't in that one.
Encino Man.
Encino Man.
Encino
It
Man,
was
yeah.
the Baldwin brother.
What?
was
Oh,
in,
yes,
Stephen
you're right.
Baldwin.
It was one of the Baldwins
Yeah.
in Biodome. Yep.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Well,
so
guys, do we got anything more on Ahsoka?
I was just about to say, do you guys have any idea what what we're going to expect next. So here's where we left off, right? So we got Hu Yang and Ahsoka purgling through the galaxy,
Purrgiling.
to another
Great
galaxy.
Purrgiling.
They're purgling away. We've got Hera getting ready to possibly go before a military tribunal and get knocked down a rank or two.
Yep.
We'll call that the Purrgilator.
The Purrgilator.
And my question is, so since I'm pretty sure based on what I've read that this is supposed to take place at the same time as Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it does. Since she has changed to Ahsoka the White, obviously, but that sucks too because she's met Luke, and I hate that fact that she has not called Luke in. If she knows him, I'm like, just sitting on the sidelines.
I wonder about that. I almost wonder if she's kind of indifferent about like what he's doing, almost like because when she met him, because she was so detached from the Jedi Order. Yeah, maybe she's like seeing this dude who, just has a couple of books and has this like idea in his head of what a Jedi is. Maybe she's like, you know what? I'll let him play Jedi if he wants, but I don't really want anything to do with it.
Well, and that's true. She also knows that he's starting this Jedi Academy. She's probably like, you know what? If I need him, I'll call him. But right now he's busy. He's got spider droids putting stuff together.
Yeah,
he's got this new student Ben. Seems like a great kid.
Great kid.
He lost his
top of his class
pupil Grogu. Grogu left to be an armor-wearing Mandalorian rather than a Jedi. So,
but because this runs concurrently with season 3 of The Mandalorian, I'm wondering, other than like what is that? Is it Captain Carson? What is his?
Yeah, Captain Carson Teva. Of Adelphi Rangers.
I wonder, are we going to see anybody else, pop in that we also saw? Like, are we going to see Zeb? Are we going to see, are we going to get, let Chopper break loose and murder entire squadron of stormtroopers? Like, I mean, are we going to see maybe the Mandalorian just do a quick flyby and be like, hey, what's going on? I'm on a mission. Bye.
Nah, I hope not. I hope we don't get the Mandalorian.
Maybe Boba Fett, he's going to get an entire episode dedicated to him, kind of make up for it.
The next two
Rex?
Episodes are just
get Rex.
Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, Purrgils.
Episodes, oh God. I would love to see Rex. I mean, we've already seen, I thought it was amazing getting the live action clones in this episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I could see us, getting Rex.
He was in the recording booth, so yeah.
Get him on screen. Live action. Get him a beard.
The only way I think we're going to see like Luke, the Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Zeb, is if at the end of this end of the series, end of the season, she's going around getting a group together.
Yeah.
And they're all like, son of a bitch, I'm in.
Man.
Thrawn is back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm down.
I think that's eventually going to be the plan for the movie. I'm not sure when that's going to actually happen, though. So,
I don't
know. Carson's partner, anyway?
Yeah. He was with them at the base.
Carson Teva is basically the Agent Coulson, I guess, of Star Wars now. So, yeah.
Now, they haven't started filming the movie yet or anything, have they?
No. It's not even in production.
Filoni has said there's more story to tell before they get to the movie. And we know Mandalorian season 4 is supposed to be coming out 2025.
They've got the scripts for it. Yeah.
I'm hoping we get Ahsoka season 2. Got to put a little more pieces into place for what's going to happen in the movie.
Yeah, depending on where they end this, I would be excited to see another season of Ahsoka.
What other Star Wars media are we expecting anything in 2024?
Did
Skeleton Crew? It got pushed back to 2024. Yeah. And then we also got
that's 2024.
The Acolyte.
The Acolyte. But that takes place in the past.
Right. It won't be about this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's still going to be an awesome show.
Hopefully. Oh, I have very low expectations for that.
It's going to be an awesome show.
Mm-hmm.
Dave,
okay.
Just remember, Dave, you had low expectations for Andor also. So hopefully this is the same thing.
Yeah, we're gonna get a Jedi Wookiee, so I'm all on board for that.
Dave was
so.
not the only one. I had pretty low expectations for Andor too. I did not think
Me
it was
too.
going to be good.
Coming off of Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was just like, okay,
Well, also, like, I was thinking when I initially heard like what it was supposed to be about, I'm like, a show about Andor?
I know,
mean, he was
yeah.
barely present in like Rogue One. He was there, and Rogue One was good, but like it wasn't the greatest movie ever. I'm like, how are you going to make an entire series about that guy? And they're like, it's going to be a spy thriller, and I'm like, in Star Wars,
yeah, they pulled it off. But I didn't think so either, but they pulled it off.
They definitely did, and like this is one of a lot of people consider Andor their favorite show, either The Mandalorian or Andor, not Obi-Wan Kenobi or Boba Fett, but Andor the Mandalorian.
I love Andor so much, mostly because of just the amazing cinematography. I mean, my first thought when I started watching the initial trailers for it, that's what finally won me over. Were those trailers? I'm like, oh, this looks cinematic. This looks like a straight up movie. They had these like big wide. They had actual like outdoor sets and everything. They had it looked like they were making a show, but they were filming it like a movie. Yeah,
and I've said this before, but like this is the closest we're gonna get to a Christopher Nolan Star Wars show. So that's one of the reasons I like it so much, because I love Christopher Nolan.
There's had been a couple of scenes in Ahsoka that have made me feel the same way. Like this last scene here with Ahsoka, standing on top of the ship and talking to the Purrgils before she Purrgils
very
away.
Cinematic.
So good.
The fight scenes in the Red Forest were the same way with the contrasting lightsabers.
Love that.
Yep.
I love those shots in the beginning of this episode too, of part 5, where it's coming in and panning with into the forest and whatnot, and just beautifully choreographed shots that they had in there for this episode particularly.
When I was rewatching today, one of the scenes that stood out to me was when she was looking up and sees the Purrgils, and the idea comes to her. They do a shot where the camera goes way up, like showing how small Ahsoka is in the grand scheme of the universe, and especially obviously I was like, that is so well done.
Goes way against what George Lucas did with his filming. Very static shots.
Speaking of George Lucas, I would love to see like his reaction watching that transition at the end of episode 4.
Oh yeah,
it moves from the waves into the world between worlds, and he's sitting there like, I would have done just a yellow wipe across the screen. That seems a little too much.
I would love to have a star wipe. Just
check out the film skill nerd. He's doing the waves into it. You just do a wipe here.
My wife would have made a whoosh noise.
That's how we transition here in Star Wars.
Star Wars. God. Who named her Ahsoka? I would have called her a Twiddle.
Cheese. I would have called her cheese.
Simmer.
But we got to thank George Lucas for Ahsoka, because he had to convince Dave Filoni.
We got to thank him for essentially being like the whole, in the Master Apprentice situation, basically the master of Dave Filoni, because he constantly, anytime he does an interview, he constantly talks about how he felt that George brought him up in the world of filmmaking.
He did.
Constantly said, I didn't know what I was doing, and if it hadn't been for George, I would still be lost.
He picked the best successor he could pick. He did a fantastic job with that.
Now, this is going to be way off topic. So
yeah, we never do that.
But it has to do with Dave Filoni directing. As I was watching again today, I was rewatching. I hope Dave Filoni directs one of the Avatar: The Last Airbender live action episodes that's coming up on Netflix.
Oh,
because we know he worked on the cartoon.
He did.
That would be awesome for him to direct one of those episodes. If they do that, I am all in.
That would be so great.
It's an animated series.
Oh, sorry, animated series. You're correct. Sorry, Dave.
Thank you.
I will give myself a Purrgiling later as punishment.
You've just been waiting to Purrgil yourself.
Purrgilation.
Just don't Purrgil yourself in a court of law.
Is this going to be the title of this episode? The Purrgiling? Doug,
Oh,
is that
boy.
going to be the thumbnail?
Should I redo the thumbnail? I already made
Yeah.
one for this.
The Purrgiling.
Purrgiling.
I love it.
That would be beautiful. That would be symmetry, because that's how he was found by George Lucas, was through The Last Airbender. And
Oh, I thought you were going to say through Purrgiling.
through Purrgiling as well.
Purrgiling.
Yeah.
Great.
That's
So,
Space
that's the
Whales.
hazing that happens when you go into
Yeah.
Lucasfilm. You got to get purgled.
What a Purrgilish moment.
show me
Commence
on the download
purgilation.
Purgled.
Increase the purgilation. How much
It
is
shows
enough?
we've
I
got
don't know.
8
Ask
people
Elder.
watching. Wow. All right. Neato.
What's that?
That's awesome.
It shows that we've got 8 people watching. Outstanding.
Well, there's 5 of us.
Okay, but who are the other 3?
Well, Sierra's one of them.
So, wow, there's
Sure.
going to be only 2 episodes of this live-action Avatar show?
What?
Yeah,
No.
it's well, at least that's what it's showing, and they're directed by Michael Goy.
Maybe
So-
they're just not done yet.
That doesn't sound accurate. 2 episodes?
Oh, no. Let's see here. No, there's going to be more.
It's not.
Okay, I was
As
going to
well.
say, because I thought there were supposed to be 8.
Yeah, 8 episodes altogether. They're just showing like the first 2 in the main section
Oh,
here.
okay.
And
That
then they
makes
got
sense.
a little blurb at the bottom. It's like, and this person's going to direct this episode, and Jet Wilkinson's directing the 8th episode. So yeah, no Dave Filoni. Damn it. That would've been so
Are
cool.
you looking forward to the live action Avatar?
I
the
mean,
Last
I'll check
Airbender?
it out.
Not the blue
Yeah.
people?
I'm looking for the cabbage guy.
I hear good things about it, so I'm a little curious. So I might actually check it out.
I'm a little curious too. Keith and Dave and I were a little concerned at first when we got the news that the original creators had walked away from it, from
It's
this
a little
this
concerning.
Netflix thing. Now they have gone on to establish Avatar Studios under Paramount, and they're
Okay.
making new animated series. And at the moment, we kind of discussed this on one of our live streams a couple of weeks ago. They are making a new animated series that's supposed to be set like a good like 80 years after,
After
Legend
Korra?
of Korra.
Yeah.
And so far, as wild as this sounds, the initial rumor coming out about what they want to do with the benders is they're essentially going to have guns that they use.
Oh,
to
more
bend
modern
the
day?
elements.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't shoot bullets, they shoot the elements.
Like air.
Yeah. It's
Fire.
an airsoft gun. Fire.
Oh, poo, poo, poo.
You see an airbender using finger guns.
Shoot
Water
him.
guns. Water guns.
Yes, exactly.
What are you going to
He's
do
just
with that
finger banging
water
people.
gun?
Bang, 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 bang.
Squirt
through the
gun. Oh, that's interesting.
But yeah, there was a couple of like images that had been released that essentially showed like a firebender with some sort of like, in the Avatar art style, like gun of some kind, and it's blasting a fireball out of it. And I'm like, that might be cool. We'll
That might
see.
be.
I don't know. I mean,
It's a
I understand
choice.
if you want
It's a choice.
it's a choice. I mean, I understand they want to keep like modernizing it and keep moving it
Yeah.
forward in time. And I guess once you reach a certain point, like, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
You're going to suck all the spiritualism out of it and just be like,
All right.
yeah, dude, you get bending from midi-chlorians. Everybody microorganisms and guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get those somehow worked in here from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Right.
We're not even
Now, while
sure.
we're talking about a galaxy far, far away,
Oh yeah. Right.
next episode, one of the things that I missed the first time watching it on Fatherly Fandom's wonderful live watch party yesterday, it was dark when they rescued Ahsoka.
Mhm.
So she was in that water for a very long time. And then when she came
Yeah.
back to, Hu Yang said it was a full rotation.
A
So we
full
don't know how
rotation.
long
Yeah.
that actually was, per se. So by the
Okay.
time she's purgling to the next galaxy, she's already way behind. Morgan and Balin and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to see her get there and they're like almost already established and maybe making preparations to come back? Or are they going to maybe be like, okay, we're not sure where exactly Thrawn is here. We got to collect some stuff and build up, have some allies or whatnot. I've been debating on how this is going to go down when she arrives. Are they going to be like firmly entrenched with Thrawn, building an army and gathering people to come back?
I have a theory about that.
Oh, let's hear it.
So I think if we're gonna do like a sort of the monster versus a machine kind of deal, perhaps she'll arrive no less than like no more than a day after them, because the Purrgils probably know their way better than some calculations on their hyperdrive engine.
And
they might even know.
Wait. Are you doubting that droid who said it's going to take a few moments? His exact calculations, Doug.
I am doubting Chillbot.
Yeah.
Chillbot.
I love it. I love it. His name is Chillbot now.
Hey man, like we're pretty close.
Yeah, bro,
right?
Dude,
I got you kind of there.
Just need a
You
couple
said
of
you wanted to go to Purrgium. We're at Duridium. It's kind of the same thing. We're like, just
Only off by a letter, bro.
Somebody unplug the orb, man.
We'll be at Purrgium in a few light years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Chill, man. It's fine.
So I was talking to a friend of mine that's like a casual viewer, and he had a lot of issues too with this episode. And he's like, I think this is going to be the first episode that people that haven't seen the Clone Wars or Rebels or things will have more issues with. And I was like, maybe. And he didn't understand the whole Purrgil thing as well. And he didn't understand that, these Purrgils are what set up the hyperspace routes to begin with. And they were the original creatures that created that. So I was like, oh. But they did mention that in the show. And I thought, from my perspective, it seems like the show's doing a good way of bringing those two worlds together and presenting that to an audience that hasn't seen this stuff. But
they do mention it, and here would be my response to that. So I'm sure we all have that one friend that as we're watching a movie or a TV show, they're going to be that one who's like, "Hey, what are they doing? Hey, why did they say that? Hey, what's going on over there?" And you find listening like, Watch
the show.
Thing. It will tell you.
I'm watching same as you.
True.
They will relay the information. I think
did.
at the end of that episode, seeing the Purrgils with their light up tentacles, go into light speed, I think that does well in my opinion.
They sprinkled in the information throughout the first 5 episodes. Hu Yang was like, "Oh, this is how we set up our hyperspace lanes by the Purrgils." Like they watched the Purrgils traveling, and they used to connect these two galaxies together. So they set up that little cookie crumb beforehand, and it was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So
here we go. Bad code function. As a Star Wars fan who didn't watch Rebels, only YouTube catch-ups, and watched key episodes of Clone Wars, the Purrgils don't make sense.
See, there you go.
I can get if from the viewpoint of like, hey, how the heck do these animals even work? I get that because the first time I saw Rebels, and this might blow your mind, but they actually have wolves that can travel through hyperspace in a planet. They travel through hyperspace tunnels. Yeah, the Lothal wolves. It is weird to hear that there are animals that are able to do what we've only seen ships do. Yeah.
Hyperspace wolves?
Hyperspace wolves.
Yes.
Dude,
they're connected to the world between worlds, and it's on Lothal, which is strong in the Force.
But they don't travel through space. They just travel through the planet, basically. They get
we've seen them travel through the planet, but they can do it at like hyper speed and whatever.
They're able to access these tunnels. So the only thing that the only way that I can describe it, and I kid you not, dude. So I had to watch like YouTube videos to try and piece a lot of this together. Like there's this channel called Fatherly Fandom that really helped me out. But
that's why I'm here.
I had to watch these YouTube videos to kind of piece together that the way they discovered hyperspace travel or hyperspeed travel was by watching these animals. And the only reason The only reason why I was able to like accept that was because going back to our previous discussion, I was a big fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And if you have watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, they describe the way that these people learn bending. A lot of them was by watching all of these animals bend. So you've got the whatever moles.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, Bad Coyote Funky, thank you for the follow. We definitely appreciate that. We'd like to see him more. And I was wondering too while I was watching this, and I wanted to talk to my brother. I wonder. I thought maybe because we heard Hera and Jason talking about what he's like. Oh, these are the things that took Ezra and the bad people. I like that he couldn't even name Thrawn. Like Hera just told him the bad guys. But I was wondering, because they hinted at the Clone Wars with the flashbacks to the battle on Ryloth and the Siege of Mandalore, and then they're hinting at Rebels with Ezra and him being taken with Thrawn. I wonder if this is going to have the people who didn't watch Rebels, didn't watch Clone Wars, go back and watch them now. Yeah. Like it's gonna be like pique their curiosity.
I wonder if that's gonna help like market it better.
Yeah. And my friend found the young Ahsoka very endearing because he's got a daughter and everything. He's like, yeah, that was powerful stuff. So I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, you're talking about in this episode?
In this episode. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say
in the Clone Wars, no.
Clone Wars, I did not
in this episode.
Endearing.
No.
And by the way, I know this is not going to happen, but in a perfect world, we would get a Hayden Christensen, Ariana Greenblatt Clone Wars live action series. Because honestly, those two had such great chemistry. They were so good on screen together.
Yeah. They were
I know it's not coming, but man, I would fund a Kickstarter. I would go break it outside Lucasfilm, whatever it's going to take. I want that to happen.
Same, Keith. Same.
So, Bad Coyote Funky. My dad, who saw the original Star Wars in theaters back in the day, that would be like Dave and Keith here. I didn't. I wasn't born yet. Never watched the animated series, has no idea who Ezra or Thrawn. He was asking me, so we have important people in this live-action Star Wars series who carry no weight for a large audience.
But they're still...
I can understand that.
It's like foreshadowing. It's you've never... I've seen stories before where they do that, where they foreshadow whoever's coming later, and it just becomes this big legend until it happens.
Yeah, and when you guys saw this in theaters in 1977, when they were talking about the Clone Wars, and this happens right in the middle of the story where we don't have a lot of information before, there's precedence for this in Star Wars where there's information that we don't know about that you can fill in later on. So
when we hear that the Emperor has disbanded the Senate, and then we find out he is the Senate, and we're totally confused as to what he actually disbanded.
How does one disband oneself? Well,
I don't know. Follow that guy. Maybe we'll find out.
Yep.
So, I would love a live action Clone Wars. Oh, I would kill for that, especially after seeing these scenes in this last episode. Oh yeah, they could totally
do it right now.
It just made me
saying that back when we were watching and breaking down and reviewing the new final season of Clone Wars.
The final
serious final season
for real this time.
How amazing were some of those scenes? Just imagine if they had been done in live action. Oh yeah, like that fight scene between Ahsoka and Maul.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned that the last time, and that is beautifully done. And watching this last episode, it made me a little sad, too, because Attack of the Clones, like what we got in that with the CGI clone troopers.
CGI garbage. Ugh.
And all of that stuff, I'm like, what if we got episode 2 that looked like this? So I felt a little sad that we don't have that. And, getting a live-action Clone Wars show would potentially make up for that. For me. Yeah.
I know a lot more people would watch a live action series, and maybe they would get a better understanding of the Star Wars lore, because a lot of them won't watch because it's animated.
Because it's animated,
even though the stories are fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever hear interviews that Christopher Lee gave about his experience in Attack of the Clones?
No, but he had an amazing wife.
Mhm.
He did, but
Yeah, he did.
he did say multiple times that he wasn't expecting that much green screen on the set.
Mhm.
And he said
Yeah.
there were many
Okay, I remember
times
that.
where he was being filmed and he was the only one there. And he said, I've never felt more lonely in my life. I was losing my mind sometimes. And
Yeah.
there's a
Oh,
couple
wow.
times where I said, if we have to shoot one more minute.
Yeah.
And
I
I said,
think.
You know-
But I would say I think it was Ian McKellen, Gandalf. He said the same thing with
He
the
did the same
Hobbit.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
so like lonely about that. He just felt lonely filming it.
yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of these movies that are
And he
like all
broke
around
down
at that
crying
same time
at
where
one
they
point.
were really pushing the CG.
Yeah.
Although
yeah.
I will say, personally, in my opinion, I think the Lord of the Rings movie CG, I think that's aged better than Attack of the Clones.
The original Lord of the Rings, but not the Hobbit. That's what we're talking
No,
about.
not the Hobbit.
This is what they did for the Hobbit. I don't know why Peter Jackson changed it up because they used miniatures and did so much cool stuff in the Lord of the Rings. But when it came to the Hobbit, he decided to go green screen and all this other stuff. And that's like you said there, Paul. That's when Ian McKellen was just like so miserable with that experience. And any actor that has to deal with that, your performance is going to suffer, and that is a big crux to what we saw in the prequel trilogy. I think, at least personally.
Yeah. And Bad Coyote Funky, I know it was funny because when Clone Wars came out, I started to watch the first season and I stopped watching it. I was like, this isn't for me. I'm just not going to do it. And my nephews ended up coming back and being like, hey, listen, give it some time. And then, you get the whole Savage Opress and, all the stuff that happened in that made it so worth the watch. So when Rebels came out, like the first couple episodes, I was like, okay, it's kind of like, oh, great, we got a Mandalorian, we got a Jedi, we got a Twi'lek. Okay, they're just bringing everything together. We got a new alien, so they got to. But then, as the story was going along, you become so attached to these characters, and you want to see them win. And there's a great story that takes you throughout. I think it's 4 seasons, or is it 5?
I think it's 5.
And then
I think it's 4 seasons.
And then to see this story continuing now with how it ended, to know that they had a plan for it, it makes it worth watching Rebels. It's 4 seasons. It's maybe 70 episodes, half hour each, maybe. I don't know. It's worth the watch, especially so you'll have a better understanding of what's going on now in, Ahsoka.
It was really hard for me getting into Rebels because they switched up the animation style, and I was so in love with the animation style of the Clone Wars. Still am. I think that's a superior style.
I totally agree.
So when they switched it up, I know why they did that. They wanted it to look like Ralph McQuarrie paintings and everything in that style, which I liked a lot, but it was very hard for me to get into that series because of that.
I like Ralph McQuarrie's concept art as still images. They look great when you're looking at them as like just. There's a great book that I recommend that you check out. It's literally just a book of all of his concept art because he made some amazing stuff. And there's also a comic book that came out like a while ago.
The original script of Star Wars.
It's called The Star Wars.
Yeah, I've read it.
Yeah,
awesome.
And that uses a lot of the of that art style, and it looks great just as still images, and.
Does.
I think that'd be fine, but as an animation style, I tell you what, the first thing that threw me off was, and I know this is a nitpick, but the thin lightsaber blades. I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that either, and it just felt like they had to cinch up their belt with the budget.
It did. So. It looked like they had lowered the budget, and then especially if you compare the seasons of Rebels to the new final season of Clone Wars. Or even the season of Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Or even the Bad Batch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now the only one that doesn't is Star Wars Resistance. That by far.
What?
I couldn't even get through it. Star Wars Resistance.
Didn't
oh my god.
care for that.
It was so bad. I didn't like the animation. I hated every character in it. I couldn't watch it, and that's sad.
Were the characters in were they supposed to be likable?
I don't know. I didn't know if I was becoming. I was like starting to question myself. Am I a boomer? Am I turning into a boomer?
What character?
Because
we're all getting older there, Keith. So
the only thing that I liked about the Resistance cartoon, or I'll call it a cartoon, was they did an Easter egg mention of power converters.
Nice.
It was like in the first episode, this kid was like going to like his ship broke down, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I can't fix a ship without power converters." And so he has to go and he has to buy new power converters. I'm like,
Ooh.
okay, that was a fun.
Did he
little
go
Easter
to the
egg. I still hate
Tashi
the show,
station?
but,
Did we get to see it?
he could have just gone to Tashi station for
I
power
know.
converters.
Oh.
But can you guys guess which character was on the most Rebels episodes?
The most Rebel episodes.
Chopper.
It had to be
Yes!
Chopper.
Yeah, it has to be Chopper.
He's got 4 episodes more than anybody else.
He's got a
Yeah,
couple of
I
like
believe it.
him by himself, kind of doing stuff, right?
He's also in
I don't
Rogue
know about that.
One. He's in this series too.
Chopper
so,
has the highest body count.
Yep, we've talked about this.
YouTube video, and they've got like I think Mr. Blue Sky playing
He's a
in the
murder
background.
bot. Yeah.
And it's literally just showing all the clips of him like murdering a bunch of different people. And then the counter goes up, and then when he opens the hatch and releases all those stormtroopers out the airlock hatch, the number like jumps up to 1,000.
Oh, Bad Coyote Funky asks, I tuned in late, but what did you guys think of Hera being able to hear the lightsaber duel in the World Between Worlds?
Oh,
I took
we
it
discussed that
as-
yesterday.
I took it as anyone can use the Force, and she was becoming so, because she trusts her son with what he's saying, she just stopped and was almost meditating and was able to tune into the Force a little bit. Now, she's not going to be able to wield it like a powerful, Jedi will, but I think she was able to tune in because of her trust of her son and knowing something was there.
And I think they're setting that up, with Sabine Wren, with her, practicing on things small and everything, and
Anybody
we're kind of getting
use
that.
the Force.
Mhm.
It turns out, guys,
Back
you
to the
don't
original.
have to have a magic grandpa.
No, you don't have to be related to anybody
Wait a
like a
minute.
Skywalker.
Luke didn't have a grandpa.
That you
Because
know
Anakin
of.
didn't have a dad. Or was midichlorians his grandpa?
No,
Or good
look,
guy
okay,
Palps.
His mom just said that he didn't have a father,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's just I was pregnant one day.
That was like Joseph coming home. This better be God's only kid.
Yeah.
God only son. I love that.
Space Jesus.
From the Force, you say?
Yeah, gotcha. Have you guys seen that joke, like that little video skit where the guy's like, "Hi, I made you this baked apple pie fresh from the oven," and the lady's like, "We don't have an oven." He's like, "Don't you see how ridiculous that sounds, Mary?"
Oh yeah, I saw that one recently.
But I mean, Doug, I think you mentioned yesterday too. As Jason acting as a conduit to help.
That's what I think.
Enhance?
Personally,
Yeah.
I don't think Hera has the Force. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't have it, but I don't think she really is in tune with the Force. I think that Jason was a conduit and allowed her to hear what he was hearing. I think he was using his Force telepathy thing to kind of transfer it over to
Yeah,
her
man.
so she could.
I hear that.
Mhm.
I believe that. Sounds right.
You're not going to reel him in?
Nope, I'm not reeling that in.
Okay.
Oh, guys,
Could be a
did you
little
see
of both.
Ryan Airy pumping the brakes this week, by the way.
Did he?
He did. Twice.
Unacceptable.
If they have a Jedi radio.
Bad Coyote Funky. So with that, are we now setting up that non-Force users can tune into a dimension only accessed by Force users if they have a Jedi radio? Yes. That is exactly it.
That is the perfect description. I love that. Jason.
I love that. Yeah.
It's like the scene in Guardians of the Galaxy where Peter grabs the Infinity Stone and everybody else touches him.
Mhm.
See, that's how they were able to survive, because they were tapped into the main source.
Well, we know that Jedis can put, feelings out there or, Jedi mind tricks. So if they can manipulate someone's mind, they should be able to put something there that they're hearing. So I don't think it's that far of a
bridge
reach to say
connection.
that, yeah,
Mhm.
hey, listen, this is what I'm hearing. I'm going to share it with those around me
True.
and be able to.
True.
Because
I
these
like
are
it,
not the
guys.
droids you're looking for. Yeah, these aren't the droids.
Okay, Sierra, are you saying that's a hot take, or do you have one?
Hot take.
I think she has a hot take.
Is she going to jail me again? I'll be good, Sierra. I promise.
Okay,
I haven't
you ready?
sung all night.
You ready for
What?
this?
Right.
Is this a joke?
Oh,
This is a joke.
oh, God.
Jesus.
Okay.
Jedi.
it auto corrected her when she typed in Jedi.
Do you want to retype that before I show that?
Yeah. Retype it, Sierra. Retype it. so we can put it on the screen.
Retype that. I'm not putting that up on the screen. Try that again.
It's like, whoa.
One more time, Sierra. What are you talking about?
There you go. All right.
There you go.
Wait, you got to
Hot
capitalize
take.
Jedi. Oh, that's all.
Anakin did
Oh.
not deserve a Jedi ghost.
He didn't. Oh, why?
Why not? He redeemed himself. He put balance to the Force.
Look, Sierra, he only killed a couple of kids. It's okay because
He
he
only
said
killed
he
a
was
couple
sorry.
hundred.
He was
ready
real
to
sorry
do it
by
again.
the end of it. So
And he stopped the Emperor. Without him becoming his apprentice and becoming Lord Vader,
Well,
good guy Palps would have never been stopped.
now technically, not necessarily because of him, it was because of his fanboy that the Jedi will never recover.
well,
Because they were on their way to recovery. Ben Solo was like, "Hey, you know who was cool? Darth Vader. I got his helmet."
yeah.
He's my grandpa.
And technically, the Jedi kind of took themselves down. They got involved
They
in
really
politics
did.
and everything. They let themselves be deceived by Darth Sidious, and they went into a war and went against everything that they were supposed to stand for. And we kind of saw this in this episode too, when Ahsoka was like, "I didn't train to fight in a war," and Anakin's like, "This is what we have to do. You know, in these times, we have to adjust to the times." And so the Jedi really played into their own downfall.
They really did. In fact, that's one of my favorite parts about Tales of the Jedi. Count Dooku says this.
Totally
and
relatable.
I loved his episodes because
Me too.
you could clearly see somebody who was like, guys, if you don't change this, if you don't do something about this, you're going to fall. This is going to be the end of the Jedi. And they're like, pshaw.
Now, hey, Sierra, I have a hot take on your comment. You said because of him, almost all the Jedi were wiped out. Hot take time. He brought balance to the Force. There's only like 2 Sith out there, and there was thousands of Jedi. So he had to cut the numbers down to bring balance. 2 Jedi, 2 Sith. That's my hot take of the night. Thanks, everybody.
That's a
Good
dark
night.
take, man.
But doesn't it seem with every show created that he missed yet another Jedi?
Chris,
Seeing
that seriously sounds like that would be on a Good Guy Pelps poster. We didn't end the Jedi. We simply brought balance to the
We
Force.
balanced him up a little bit. Yeah.
Elect me.
Uh-oh. Don't.
Well,
don't
somebody's got
head
to.
too big.
And we
Yay!
talked about.
Someone finally agreed with me. Thank you, Beth.
Oh, Keith, I agree with you all the time. You have great theories most of the time. And we talked
get
about
a
it
little
before
wild.
too with.
I do get a little wild
wonky.
at times, and that's why Dave reels me in. We need
That's
we
the
need
best
that
part,
balance.
though. Yeah, we do need that balance in the Force. But with Balin Skull, we've talked about this before. How what drove him to be the person that he is right now? A lot of us assume that it's through Order 66, but it might have been he was disillusioned by the Jedi as well. I think Doug, you mentioned that before in a previous episode. So yeah, we could explore that a little bit more too with his character, like Dooku did in Tales of the Jedi.
So, Sierra, my hot take on this, and I kind of mentioned this yesterday and also in one of our in our episode 4 live stream. I still don't buy that what we saw in those past scenes in the World Between Worlds. I don't think that was a Force ghost.
Ooh,
But he was
hot
a Force
take.
ghost at Return of the Jedi. He did show up with Yoda and Obi-Wan. So he was a Force ghost at one point. But I agree with Doug. What we saw in the World Between Worlds wasn't a Force ghost. It was basically purgatory of sorts for
would
Anakin
say-
as possibly a Mortis god transforming into a Mortis god.
Yeah.
I would
What
say
if this is his purgatory where he has to do all this stuff and then
He had to
eventually
finish
he
training
becomes the
Ahsoka.
Force ghost we see in Return of the Jedi?
He had to finish training Ahsoka. That's why
Time
he was
isn't
in the world
relevant.
between worlds. So that's before he becomes
Part of
a
his
Force.
penance, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's his penance. He has to finish
got-
training Ahsoka.
And he's got to get
And
kicked
s-
around by every one of the younglings.
right, yeah.
Hey,
All the
Sierra.
Force ghosts of the kids he killed.
Yep.
See, that's
But
why I
those
believe
kids
it's
could have
like,
those kids could have grown up to been Sith lords, killing millions. I mean,
again.
True.
I mean, he killed
Doing
Jedi,
the
but
galaxy
they're
a favor.
posters
he killed Jedi's, but they were stealing kids
could have been
to
sick.
bring into their cult. I mean, the Jedi
It was
aren't
a cult.
all. It was.
You're not
I
wrong.
mean,
You're not wrong.
But yeah, so my theory that I had put out. So first off, yes, I agree with you, Keith. That was definitely a Force ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi. But if Sierra, if this makes you feel any better, you could view that as a bit of a punishment. They literally, like Obi-Wan and Yoda, they pulled him into a Force ghost to watch his own body getting burnt. I
never
mean,
thought
that's
about
kind of
that.
messed up, right? Because, you know, being fried in lava, that's kind of like, I would say that's like hey, this is what you get. You have to watch this. You weren't going to be a Force ghost. We did this to you so you could watch your body burn again.
Now, here's a question I don't really want answered: can Force ghosts smell? Because he would then be smelling his own body burn.
Jeez.
They would endow him with that ability for that moment.
I don't know why I'm so dark tonight. I don't know what it is, man, but I'm just.
Dude, you're on a roll.
Oh man, I like this comment from Bad Coyote Funky. I think this is the only way to resolve this story.
Yeah, because they obviously can't expand out on this show.
Can't do it in live
Really-
action. Good point.
I would oh my God. Yeah, let me say, you know, I would absolutely love to see that.
Gotta get out the big water.
Absolutely.
I was wondering, we had said in our previous live stream, we were saying that we needed more backstory about them. And I had said if they hadn't already filmed it, I don't know how they're going to do it. I didn't even think of a Tales of the Jedi. That would work.
I would love to see them, Balin and Shin, in the
Yeah.
Tales of the Jedi.
Please do
Perfect
that.
placement too for them.
Please get it to us.
Get
I
it
need to
done,
see-
Dave Filoni.
I need to see that Tales of the Jedi where, like, you know how Balin mentions offhandedly to Ahsoka, he's like, oh, Anakin spoke highly of you. I would love to actually see the Tales of the Jedi flashback where he's like, oh, hey, Anakin Skywalker, who are you?
Yeah. Who are you?
And by speaking highly of her, he's like, you couldn't carry Ahsoka's jock, Balin.
Balin, you suck.
Get out of here.
I know, right?
Give me your lunch money. Well, we get lunch for free. I know.
Here's something. What if Balin not only knew Anakin, but had a run-in with Darth Vader at some point?
If he had a run
Because
with
we know-
Darth Vader, he wouldn't be breathing.
True.
Darth Vader started not killing all the Jedi,
Mhm.
just pretty much, I don't even know the right word, but humiliating them, embarrassing so much, like they were no longer able to wield the Force. Like he took their will to live out of them without killing them. So he could have had a run-in with Balin and let him go, thinking that he was weak like everyone else. And
Yeah.
Balin obviously has a little more, fortitude and was able to come back and then, formulate this plan based on, the fairy tales of the path to Purridia or wherever the Purrgiling is going to take them.
Right. Bad Coyote has a good point there. When we mentioned it earlier in this episode too, with a callback to Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not gonna fight you. I've heard that before.
Mm-hmm. So he has all those memories from when he was Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Maybe-
Either
you
that
know
or
what?
every one of his victims said that to him.
But Sierra, I know this isn't the best answer, but the Force has always been almost a very religious thing. And in religion, it's always said, on your deathbed, you can beg for forgiveness and be granted it. And that's almost what Anakin Skywalker did at the end of Return of the Jedi. He pushed out the dark and accepted the light. And was he an evil Sith doing lots of bad things for many, many years?
For sure.
But I think basically he got that forgiveness on his deathbed. He, was able to look at Luke, the love for Luke that he had brought him out of the darkness.
Yeah. Which plays into the attachment thing. Like, all attachments are not bad. That could actually redeem you. Having those attachments, the love for your family, your friends, things like that. And that's what the Jedi didn't get, because they got into this dogmatic sense that we cannot have any attachments. We can't be connected to these people. And yeah, it brought them down. So
now, on the other side of the spectrum, I have mentioned this before. When we're talking about the rise of Skywalker, I don't think Ben Solo, I don't think he deserved any kind of redemption. And I think him dying at the end was the only solution. I don't think there was any way out for him.
Yeah, if you kill Harrison Ford, you are irredeemable in my book. So
even if you think about
it's like killing a million younglings.
World, oh, Sierra redeemed Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, perfect.
You gotta see that if they would have just made Kylo Ren just pure evil in the movie that never got released, whatever it was called, Rise of Gilbert, I think is what the final name was, they would have made a better movie instead of bringing back good guy Pals as a bad guy. Everybody knows he brought order to a chaotic galaxy. Nobody sees it. All they see is, wah, wah, wah. He murdered some Jedi. Oh, well. Yeah. They probably deserved it. Look what they did. They're horrible. There's always two sides to a story.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people died on both Death Stars they destroyed? Good old Luke Skywalker shooting womp rats destroyed millions on the first Death Star. Nobody cares. Everyone boo-hoos about Alderaan. Who cares about Alderaan? They probably deserved it anyway.
Those terrorists.
Those terrorists.
You know what they say about when Luke was kissing his sister, right?
Oh, jeez.
That he was looking for love in all the wrong places.
All the wrong places.
Oh my God. That's almost stream-ending joke, Dave. What do you think this is? Is this open mic night?
I'm working on my type 5 for the comedy club.
Yeah.
So Sierra asked us on the Doug scale, which if you are new to our channel, new to the stream, the Doug scale uses an average of 5 being average. It's on a scale of 1 to 10. And usually 1 is just, it's the worst thing ever. Do not watch, 5 is, it's average, see it or don't, and then 10 is like, it's the best of the best, absolutely nothing wrong with it. Very few movies and shows ever get like an absolute 10. So Sierra wants to know, on the Doug scale, on the overall series of Ahsoka so far, what is each of our
series?
So we're only on episode 5. We haven't completed the series, so I'm going to say the series so far. What is your rating of the series so far? And we'll start. Why don't we start with Chris?
Overall, so for this first 5 episodes, what would I give the overall series so far? I'm going to say an 8 out of 10. And I think it was a 7 out of 10 before this last episode, so it bumped it up quite a bit. I don't know. It's hard to judge it halfway through when you haven't seen the ending yet. So I like to do the overall. But, yeah, I'm enjoying it immensely. And it's definitely one of the best Star Wars shows that I've seen, right up there with Andor. And I mentioned this in our stream yesterday. Andor is a great show, but this is a great Star Wars show. So it very much is hitting all the cylinders. I love the character development. I love where it's going. I love that they're exploring things that were set up in the original trilogy. They're exploring things that we haven't gotten before. The music's amazing. Kevin Kiner's doing an amazing job. The writing is awesome. Dave Filoni's doing a great job with that. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me.
All right, and Keith?
I think that Chris is out of his mind. He's like saying all this great stuff about it and only giving it an 8. This is at least a 9.2 so far on the series. It's got everything. It might not be the best Star Wars show, but it's my favorite. And I don't care what the rest of you say. It's going to go down in history as the greatest of all time. Just like Chris said, it's got the music, it's got the characters, it's got the character building, it's got awesome cinematography, it's got everything you've ever wanted, plus space flying whales. 9.2.
You gotta leave some wiggle room though for the finale, so I can raise my score by the end of this. So.
That was a great Owen Wilson impression, by the way.
Oh wow!
What did you say?
Yeah, what did you say?
You talking about me? What did I say?
Yeah.
Are we going to me next? Because I was gonna say next. Keith said this is the best show ever. Is that including Andor?
I think Andor is a better show, but this is my favorite Star Wars.
Gotcha. This is because it's taking all the lore and still keeping it in there with the Jedi and everything. And Andor's no Jedi really whatsoever. And I like them both equally because of that. So I'm with you on that. Me overall so far, I'm going to say 9 out of 10. And I've been trying to really be hard on this show because I've given some other shows like kind of free pass until, it finally wears me down. But I don't think we've had any filler space on this whole series.
No, there hasn't
no
been
filler scenes, no nothing. And I just think
seen any.
Filoni is just one of my favorite storytellers of all time. He's just like all of his stories, even if they don't feel like they're going somewhere, everything he's doing is leading up to a point where you understand why it's going to work out that way in the future. He's very good at foreshadowing and setting up. Like, I even watched those freaking droid episodes on that show on the Clone Wars. And I think I've watched them more than once. But they, even though you're watching them and they mean something so small in the future, they do mean something. Everything, it's not a waste of time. So I'm going to give it a 9.
All right, 9 out of 10. And Nisith, what about you?
I would say I would give it. I'd probably give it, as of right now, probably a solid 8. A solid 8. Okay. Only because again, it's not done yet. It could skyrocket to whatever, to 10, whatever. Right, but as of right now, from the music, the cinematography, the overall build up, everything, just the little things. Like I felt myself get like goosebumps a little bit when the World Between Worlds, when you kept seeing Anakin switch between like Darth Vader, and it just like it was so good. And I would say right now, a solid 8.
8's a great score, guys. I'm telling you. Come on board.
Every time one of you guys brings up the music, I'm just like, oh yeah, it really is. And the music last night, I think I even commented this during the during your watch party, Chris.
Yep.
Oh my God, I was taken away by the score during those flashback scenes. I mean, it grabbed me. So I think do we have anybody left? No, just me. Okay, cool, great. So I am also going to give it. No, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to give it an 8.
Nice little range here.
Yeah. There are, like I said, throughout each of the episodes, I've had my own little minor nitpicks here and there. Overall, the series so far is pretty darn good. It is pretty good Star Wars. It is incredibly difficult. I don't really want to compare it against all of the other Star Wars series. I feel like that's really not fair, especially because for me personally, I do enjoy Andor more. I actually liked Andor more, and I still see it as Star Wars. It didn't have a lot of the the magic that you see in this. It didn't have a lot of the fantasy, but I still really enjoyed it. But as far as Ahsoka goes, I have been enjoying it. Like what Dave said, there isn't any filler. As you guys pointed out, Yeah, like what Nysa said, I'm getting goosebumps a couple of times. And this
Me too.
last episode, oh, it was so good. It was so amazing. And I got to say, the one before that was really good too. That fight between Balin and Ahsoka, so much emotion behind it. Oh my God, I
Oh, yeah.
loved it. It was amazing. And the fight in the Force in episode 4, right
Mhm.
before they faced off against Balin. To me, that's the kind of stuff that I was hoping to see in this series. I wanted to see more of these open sets. I wanted to see something cinematic like what we got out of Andor, and they're slowly putting more and more of that in, and it's looking less like a CG nightmare. And the fact that,
Yeah.
again, I cannot praise this enough, the fact that we got clones, actual people in costumes, just chef's kiss. That is, thank you. That is the icing on the cake, and I couldn't ask for too much more than that. So yeah, while it is not perfect, it is, I think, a good solid 8.5 out of 10. And yeah, that leaves me a little bit of wiggle room to be, blown away by like the final episode.
For sure. And the benefit of Andor is we've got the entire series to look back upon,
Yeah.
too. So
Yep.
it's really hard at this point in time to compare it to Andor.
That's why I
And-
don't really want to. Yeah.
And it's really hard because they're apples and
They're two
oranges, but
different-
in
Oh,
in Star Wars. So
They exist
agree
in
with
the
it.
same universe, but they're two different things.
yeah, but this show brings me back to my childhood, makes me excited like a kid, with all the Star Wars.
Do you
So
pour
it-
your bowl of cereal and
Oh. Now, guys, do you pour the milk in first, or do you do the cereal?
The
Cereal.
cereal goes in
What-
first.
cereal?
What kind of
What kind of
sadistic
monster are you?
bastards are
I'm
you?
not a
Yeah,
monster.
exactly.
All right, so we got another comment here from Bad Coyote Funky. Going back to previous episodes, what do you guys think about the criticism of the show being more Sabine focused than Ahsoka? I haven't heard that criticism. I wasn't aware of that.
I hadn't heard that criticism either,
I've heard of
but
it.
I can
yeah.
see, but I can see it being someone who's never watched a Filoni show.
Yeah.
He takes his time he'll give you an episode. If he has to focus on Sabine for an entire episode, he'll do it.
He
Yeah.
does. Filoni's very good, in my opinion, at character building.
Yeah, it's not because he's trying to highlight one character over the other. It's serving the plot. It's all for story, so
Yep.
that's why it's okay with me.
And all of the things that Sabine went through, even off screen, that we've learned this season, is why she gave Balin the star map
Exactly.
and why they're now traveling to get Ezra, because that's what
It explains
her
that
thinking did.
situation. It explains her decisions going forward. So serve the story.
Yeah. I think it's been a healthy mix between the two. I think we've seen both of them relatively equally. At least I think. I think maybe in the second episode we got a little bit more Sabine, but in the first episode we definitely got a little bit more Ahsoka. Watching her raid that temple, fight those robots, and be a cool guy who doesn't look at explosions. But
Yep.
yeah. So
Never look back at explosions.
So here's to expand on what you guys said about how Dave Filoni is very character driven. I agree, and I think in a way it makes him different. I'm still pretty equal footing with like George Lucas, but different because George Lucas was a world builder. If I was to play a game of D&D and George Lucas was the dungeon master, I would know that I'm in for a treat because he has just spent like an entire year putting together this campaign and gonna just like really give me the dialogue's gonna be trash. Like the NPC can't talk with anything, but the world is gonna be amazing. But Dave Filoni, he is incredible at character building. And I think that's why, we get things like The Mandalorian where we can really attach ourselves to Din Djarin because like he's such a well fleshed out character. And it doesn't matter like
Endearing
what planet he's on or the world around him. He's cool and you get a lot out of his character.
Now, I can answer this one. How would you explain the need to find Ezra to someone who hasn't seen Rebels, Sabine willing to throw the galaxy into war by bringing back the Imperial Admiral? Like we've said before, we know that she lost her family. Balin Skoll brought that up. And because Ahsoka didn't trust her, he was kind of manipulating her before. And she feels like Ezra is her only family left. Now, seeing Rebels would help you understand that a little bit more. and it's hard for me to say. I think they've done enough this season to lay it out with not seeing Rebels to understand why she's doing it. But, I think they've put those breadcrumbs out there that, hey, this is a lady who's had a lot of bad things happen. And one of the good things that was part of her life is someone now she can go try to save. She's not thinking, oh, Thrawn's going to come back and, throw it into, complete chaos in another war. She's thinking, I can bring back my friend who's already beaten Grand Admiral Thrawn once and can do it again.
Here's what I'm thinking about that first part of that question. How would you explain they need to find Ezra? And it's, all right, you're probably operating at a hindrance because you have seen Rebels at that point. Because he is like, if you hadn't seen Rebels, if this was a fresh show with fresh characters and they put out the same plot, there wouldn't be any that first question wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be say, how would you explain this to someone who hasn't seen Rebels? Say, oh wait, I want to see what happens that goes on with that. I want to see why are they going after Ezra. Obviously, they're saving it for later in the season. It's going to be a big storyline. So you won't have that conflict going on in your head if you hadn't already seen Rebels. So, it's good from both sides. If you have seen it, you know that they're building towards something. And if you haven't seen it, same thing. They're foreshadowing with all these little, his little hologram, and they're talking about Thrawn the entire time. You're kind of getting the idea of what happened without seeing it at the same time on this show, even if you haven't seen Rebels. So I think it's building up both ways.
My answer to that is I think it actually has less to do with Ezra, and I think it's, again, going back to the character development, I think it's more to do with who Sabine is as a character. And it's still, if you haven't seen these animated series before, it does hurt you in the fact that you don't really have a good grasp on who she is and understand why she makes the decisions that she makes. Because at her core, she is a very emotionally driven person. Definitely not the kind of person you would normally see as a Jedi, which Hu Yang points out multiple times. And so that's why I think she would get ready to throw the entire galaxy away, because she's thinking very emotionally, as she does with a lot of her decisions, And if you think about, so again, if you hadn't seen Rebels, you wouldn't know this, but she spent a good majority of basically her formative years with Ezra. They fought side by side together. So to her, whether it was a romantic relationship or not, she could even see him as like a brother figure.
Yeah. I mean, Ezra says in the hologram that, you're like a sister to me.
Yeah.
And while that felt untrue to me seeing Rebels, and watching this.
Right, yeah.
They kind of retconned it, but you get those little pieces that there's a caring relationship. Hera, the first thing she asks Ahsoka, or the first thing she mentions when Ahsoka talks about the map is maybe Ezra's alive. So clearly these characters care about this person. Whoever this person is, they're very attached to them. And so we know that. And the idea there is to give us that idea that there's this person that's out there. They very much care about this person and want to bring him back and save him. And so it gives you this little hint of something. And hopefully it makes a lot of people want to go back and watch something like Rebels and invest the time into going even further down the rabbit hole with this stuff. And I like that. I like the fact that it's setting us up to go even further down.
Now, I suppose...
Are you going to be late to work?
Pretty soon. So I could stay on for another couple minutes.
I suppose I didn't, but if we were to keep on the whole relationship aspect, I could have given the non-family friendly channel answer. I won't.
Okay.
But
Good job, Doug.
Mind.
We're gonna have to blow up this feed pretty soon.
Yeah, without seeing Rebels, the show puts a lot of weight on finding this guy who we have no idea who he is. The show hasn't given us a reason to care other than the main characters know him. Yeah, I guess I kind of get that.
Well, the same thing could be said about in The Force Awakens. If someone hadn't seen the original trilogy,
movie?
we're trying to find some Luke guy. Who's this dude?
Right.
No.
Or hey, like
Imagine that.
like
You don't
in
know who Luke
Endgame,
is.
they didn't explain anything to me before I saw that.
He says, "Thanks for answering the questions." Of course, we really love it.
Anytime.
Honestly, the interaction, we really really dig it. We want you guys to be able to ask whatever you want. It helps drive the conversation, and we want this
Our
to be
community.
conversation focused.
Our community
That's-
means everything to us.
Yeah.
You guys showing
Yeah.
up, talking to
Honestly,
us about things we love makes our day.
Yes.
That's why we love
It
having
does.
Chris from Finally Fandom on. That's why we love having Niceth on. I think having you two gentlemen on is really helping drive this conversation because you guys are
Right.
big fans of this stuff just like we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, he absolutely does.
Oh,
Let's not make Chris late for work.
Yeah, I suppose it's getting to be about that time.
Yeah. I have to work
I
tonight,
think we all
guys.
geeked when Anakin did his saber flourish, his infamous spin. Yes, we all definitely did
Yeah.
geek on that.
Yeah, we did.
I'm
I
glad
love
I
that
wasn't on
spin. He'll
camera.
do it.
Oh, you were on camera.
Oh no.
I was. Yeah, luckily you weren't, Keith.
All right. So I think we are probably going to try to find somebody to raid here. Because yeah, we're getting pretty close to let's see, where are we at? About
Some of
yeah,
us
we're
are
over our
Eastern.
2 hour mark. Okay, yeah. I
Mhm.
think we definitely gotta probably call it here. We don't want Chris to be late for work, and unfortunately Keith and I have jobs in the morning. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Okay.
and Dave,
Jobs,
you too.
man.
But
hey-
I'm guessing you probably have other things to do too.
I do.
And you know
That's
what,
what-
guys? If you want us to be on here even longer and talk about this stuff more, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to Fatherly Fandom, and give Nightsif some follows too, man. Because the more people we have, the more we can generate some sort of revenue with this stuff, and we won't have to work as much in our regular lives. So we'll have more time to devote to you out there, guys. So
We're
subscribe
here for your
today.
needs.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Bad Coyote Funky, for following us on all things. That's great. Now, Dr. Detroit
you
is
rock.
online. We could,
Yeah,
we
I
could
see
raid.
Do it.
All right, let me see here.
Do
How
I
it.
can probably use it.
How to raid?
It's been a while since he's been on, at least that I've seen, so you can probably use a few people.
There
Were
we
you
go.
asking Alexa how to raid, Doug?
Yeah.
Alexa,
No,
Alexa,
no,
how to raid?
Totally not. I wouldn't do that.
Do/raid. Insert name.
See, he's got zeros in his
Coyote.
name. So give me a second. I got to type this out. D0 C T 0 R E R
D-E-T-R
0 IT. Okay.
And Bad Coyote Funky, I love your graphic, man. That is so cool. Do you have your own channel or something like that? Because you've had some great questions tonight, man. And
Oh,
I'd love to follow you. if you got something.
We are getting ready to raid, folks. Thank you again for joining us tonight. As Chris said, make sure that you subscribe to Nightly Status Quo, subscribe to Fatherly Fandom, follow Nysith here on Twitch, and thanks again. Make sure that you join us. We do this while Ahsoka is running. We do this every Wednesday, and we're here streaming every Sunday as well. So without further ado, I think we are ready to raid Dr. Detroit. Thanks again for joining us, everybody. And thank you, Chris and Nysith, for joining us as well.
Of course.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Have a good night, guys.
And here we go.
Woo!